Okay, the time is already 7:20. I think. Okay, great, Chaudhary. That's great. Now I have disabled the chat section. So first, let us discuss the answers of previous test, and after that, let us continue with our today's class. So fine. So this is our first question. What is the output of the below code? I have given a list here, and I am trying to print the length of the list. I have told you multiple times that this len function is used to find the count of elements present inside a list. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see here there are five elements in this list: 1, 7, H, E, L, L, O. So there are five elements in this list, and around 417 students got this question right, and 77 students has chosen option 4. I mean, they have chosen 4 as answer. Maybe they might have confused with the index numbers. So the index numbers start from 0 and it will end at length of list minus 1, which means the index number of this list starts from 0 and the last index number of the list is 4, but the length of the list is 5. So remember, the length of the list function will return the number of elements present inside a list. So there are 5 elements present inside a list, so 5 is my answer. So this is the next question. Here I am using negative index number. I have clearly explained the negative indexing. So here the point is, I am trying to access minus one element, which means LLO will be printed as output. In Python, I have told you that negative indexing starts from end of the list, which means if I try to print A of minus 1, the last element will get printed. If I try to print A of minus 2, the element before last element, which is E, will get printed. So the negative index number of H is minus 3, 7 is minus 4, 1 is minus 5. So like this, the negative indexing works in Python. So if I try to print A of minus 1, the last element will get printed from the list. So around 434 people got this question right. Great. And this question, here I am trying to, here I am simply printing the value which is stored at index number 2. We all know that indexing starts from 0, right? So the index number of 1 is 0, 7 is 1, and H is 2. So H will be printed as output. Around 90% got this question right. Great. So I'm explaining mainly for people those who have made mistakes here. You should clearly understand these are the basic questions, right? We have been discussing this from long time. I have clearly explained you how list works, tuples work. So now let us see this question. So we all know that uh, list is mutable, which means we can modify the elements present inside a list. So here I am trying to modify the element which is present at index number 1. So what is the element present at index number 1? 7, right? The index number of 1 is 0 and 7 is 1. So 7 will be changed to new. So the if I try to print variable A, then the new list is 1 comma new comma H comma E comma LLO. So this is the correct answer. Around 77% got this question right. And the next one is, so here only 40% of students has given correct answer to this question, which is really funny because this is not a list, this is a tuple. So you should concentrate on the question. First, you need to check whether this is a list or tuple. I have told you multiple times that tuples are immutable, which means I cannot change the contents present inside a tuple, right? So here I am trying to change the value at index number 1. So I'll get an error saying tuples are immutable. Tuple doesn't support item assignment. So I'll get an error. So error is the correct answer. Most of the people are thinking that this question and this question they both are same, but no. Here I am using a list and this one is a tuple. So you should look at the question carefully. And the next question is, so here I am trying to perform slicing, right? We know how to do slicing. So we use colon while performing slicing. Just give me a second. Let me admit everyone. Okay, fine. So here, while performing slicing, uh, I know that if I am not mentioning any ending index number, then our Python interpreter will print all the elements at the end of the interpreter will go at the end of the list or tuple. The concept is same for list and tuple. The slicing and indexing is same for list and tuple. So here I am starting slicing from index number 2. So So H is present at index number 2, and it will start from H and it will go until the end of the list. So this is how slicing works. Here I'm not mentioning any ending index number. So it will start from H and it will go until the end of the list. If I am mentioning any ending index number means it will stop before that number. So this is how slicing works. I have clearly mentioned. You can check out the recorded sessions if you have any doubts. And this question here, first I am assigning a list to variable A. After that, I am using clear function. So I have told you multiple times that clear function is used to delete all the elements from a list. So if I use clear function, then my list will become empty. So the output of this question will be empty list. But here around 114 students selected syntax error. Well, they might have chosen syntax error because there is a colon present inside this uh, square braces. Here, I've just given this to confuse you because here I am performing slicing. So if I am not giving any ending index, if I am not using any starting index number, and if I am not giving any index number in slicing, means the entire list will get printed. We have clearly seen this while discussing about slicing. So let me open the GitHub link one so that I can show you. So I think in day 5 we have discussed about lists. Yes. So in slicing, okay, here I have shown you. This is the syntax of slicing, which means first I need to mention square braces after the list name, and inside that I need to mention starting index number colon ending index number. If I am not mentioning any starting index number means by default the slicing will start from the beginning of the list. Similarly, if I am not mentioning any ending index number means slicing will go until the end of the list. And also, if I am not mentioning starting and ending index numbers means the entire list will get printed. This is the concept of slicing. You should remember that. So here, I am not mentioning any starting and ending index number. And also, I am using clear function here, which means an empty list will be printed. So 374 students only got this question right, which means around 70%. So this is the simplest question. But also only 83% got this question right. Here, I have clearly told you that double star is an exponential operator. If I am using double star means square operation will get performed. I mean the power operation. Here I am using 5 star star 2, which means 5 power 2. What is 5 power 2? 25. While discussing about arithmetic operators, I have clearly told you about this one. You can see here around 53 students have chosen 10. So they have performed multiplication here. 5 twos are 10. Here I am using 2 stars, right? 2 stars means exponential or power operation. So 5 power 2 is 25. You should not make silly mistakes like this. You can check this in assignment operators. So, and this is assignment operator, right? I need to open arithmetic operators. So exponential, you can see here I have told you about exponential operator. So if I say a power b, what is the value of a? 4, and the value of b is also 4. Let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see clearly. I know that the value of a is 4 and b is 4. Now 4 power 4 means we should multiply 4 times, which means 4 into 4 into 4 into 4, 256. So double star is an exponential operator. You should not make silly mistakes like this from next time. I hope you understood. 5 power 2 is 25, not 10. And this is also a simple question. I have told you that we can store a list inside a list. So this 1 comma 2 is a sublist now. And also here I can access the elements present inside this sublist. So if I print a of 1, so here 1 comma 2, this list is stored at index number 1. And again I am printing the value which is stored at first index number. So inside this list the index number of 1 is 0 and the index number of 2 is 1. So here 2 will be printed as output. Only 59% students gave correct answer to this question. I have clearly explained you about this indexing. We can store list inside a list, and also I can access the each and every element from this sublist also using their index numbers. Inside this list also index number starts from 0. So this is how I can access. I need to use two square braces here. Around 119 students have selected 1 comma 2. If I say only a of 1, then my output is 1 comma 2. Here I am using a of 1, right? So my output will be 2. Inside this sublist also I need to perform indexing. So that's about this question. And the next question is, so you can check this question here. Uh, Here also the same concept only, but here I am performing this indexing for this element. So you can say here first I am saying a of 0. What is a of 0? 1. So this 1 is not a list, this is a single element, right? So I cannot perform indexing inside this one element. So I will get an error. So I have given you all types of questions so that you can clearly understand how the concept works. I can perform indexing inside this list, but it is not possible to perform indexing on integers. We can perform indexing only on list and tuples. So you should remember that. So here I am trying to perform indexing on element 1, so I will get an error. So you should be clear with these concepts of indexing. Now this question, I have told you multiple times that lists are mutable, which means I can change the contents present inside a list. And I have told you that lists are represented using square braces and lists are heterogeneous. So heterogeneous means there will be different types of, so you can see here, let me show you you can check out this list. I am storing integer here, string here. So I am storing different data types inside a list now. So if I can store different data types inside a single list, then we call it as heterogeneous. So in Python, lists are heterogeneous, not homogeneous. You should remember this point also. And regarding tuples, I have told you multiple times that tuples are immutable, which means I cannot change the contents present inside a tuple. And I don't know who selected this option. Tuples are represented by square braces. Around 44 students have selected this option. I should file a case against you. Around 100 times I have told you that tuples are represented by parentheses, not square braces. Lists are represented by square braces. And also tuples are also heterogeneous. I can store string, integer, boolean, float, all kind of values inside a tuple. Even I can store a list and also I can store a subtuple inside a tuple. I have shown you how to do that. I'll show you once again. I think on day 6 we have discussed about tuples, right? So this is tuples.py file, and you can see here at line number 28, inside a tuple, I am storing a tuple and also I am storing a list. So tuples are also heterogeneous. I can store integers, floats, strings, list, subtuples, etc. So this is what I want to explain. And also this one, Python is a high level language. We all know that. On the first day, I have told you that Python is a high level language, which means it can be easily understood by humans. And with the help of compiler, it will get converted into low level language. What is low level language? Low level language is easily understood by computer, which means zeros and ones, or binary language is also called as low level language. And around 14 students have selected that Python is low level language, and 3 people have selected Python is a normal language. I'm not asking English is, I am asking Python is a high level language, remember that. And this question, I am using floor division here, and we all know that if I use single slash, which means normal division operation, I will get floating point number as output. So if I say 7 by 2, then my output will be around 0 0.5, like that. But here I am performing floor division, which means I am using two forward slashes. So I will get output as integer. So for this question, the output is 3 only. If I use single slash, then the output will be 3.5. Here I am using double slash, right? Floor division. So my output will be integer. So the answer is 3. Around 369 students have given correct answer to this question. So this is our final question. Here I am simply printing the element which is stored at index number 0. And which element is stored inside index number 0? 1 comma 1, right? Here you can see here I have given a comma here just to confuse you people, because here I am enclosing 1 comma 1 with single quotes, which means this 1 comma 1 will be considered as string. It doesn't matter whether there is a comma or any special character or a space inside a string. So if I am enclosing anything inside single quotes means it will be considered as string. So here I am trying to print or I am trying to access element which is stored at index number 0. So 1 comma 1 is stored at index number 0. So I will get 1 comma 1 as output to this question. So here 1 comma 1 is a string. You should not get confused with this comma. So let me repeat once again. It doesn't matter whether a comma or whatever special character present inside double quotes or single quotes. If it is present inside double quotes or single quotes means it will be considered as a string. So these are the questions, and on average I got around 11 points in this exam, which is great. It is not bad. You can improve in next exam, and I think there's no one in waiting room. Yeah. Some people have raised their hands. I am going to enable chat section for few seconds. If you have any doubts regarding on the questions which we have discussed so far, you can ask me now. Okay, of course, I am going to start the class now. When is the next exam? I think I'll send next exam link on next Sunday. Results may not received, which means if you might have entered wrong email ID while writing exam, or else you haven't attended the exam itself. Everyone got the results. So I have sent you a poll. You can answer to me then. So fine, fine. I am going to disable the chat section now. I think you don't have any doubts. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, Ramakrishna, you don't have to worry next time. If results not received, check spam mailbox. Okay, you can do that. You can check your spam section. How to solve questions in HackerRank? I have shown you how to solve questions in HackerRank. Don't worry, I will show you once again. Shravan and Roja, I will answer to this question. I will show you how to do that exactly. No, Teja. All the assignments are simple only. I am not going to give you tough questions. So I will end the poll. Okay, now we have around 249 participants or 250 participants in this class. So let us start today's class. Today is our day 7, right? Let me create a new folder named day 7, and inside this folder I am going to open my VS Code. So yes, everything is fine. So first I'll try to answer the question asked by Roja. How can we perform operations like append or remove in sublist? Let me select my Python interpreter, which is Python 3.11.4, and here let me declare a list 1 comma 2 comma, and I this is a sublist which has hello 800 900, and let me give some random element like 2 here. Okay, I am having one list now. So the index number of this sublist is 012. So I know that the index number of this sublist is 2. If I say a of 2 dot append, let me append an element 5000 here. And if I print a, you can see here 5000 is added at the end of sublist. So this is how you can perform operations. Let me print a before append operation also. If I run this program, you can see here in line 1, there is no 5000 in the sublist. But in line 3, I am performing append operation on sublist using its index number. I know the index number of sublist is 2, and also I know how to access a value using its index number. I need to use square braces. This is the basic indexing concept again. So if I say a of 2 dot, and after that if I mention any function, so append is a function used to add element at the end of the list. So if I say a of 2 dot append 5000, then 5000 will be added at the end of the sublist, which means after 900, 5000 will be added. You can check out here in the output. So this is how you can perform operations on sublist. I hope, I think I have answered your question. So now let me create a new file here, and the name of this file is input.py. Let me close this sublist.py file. So far I have shown you that this is how you can assign value to a variable, and this is how you can print that value with the help of variable name. I have shown you this one. But in case now I don't want to assign value by myself. Instead, I want to take input from the user, which means I won't assign 10 like this, but I want you to decide which value to be stored in variable A. So what can I do for that? So here I can use a function called input in Python. So input is also a built-in function like print, type, len. So input like that. Input is also a built-in function which is used to take input from user. And also one more thing which you need to remember is by default this input function will take input in string format. What does that mean? Let me show you. So here, now I am going to use input function. So instead of directly assigning value to a variable, I am going to tell my user to assign value to the variable A. For that, I know that now I need to use input function. So the syntax of function is we know after function name, which is input, we need to use this parenthesis. This is the syntax of any function, and we know it. And after that, let me print A. That's it. Now, if I run this program, you can see here I haven't got anything on output. Now it is waiting for my input, and also you can see here the program hasn't ended. It is waiting for my input. If I enter 10 here, you can see here again 10 got printed. So for let me delete this for your better understanding. Here, let me say you have entered. Okay, now let me run this program once again. Now it is waiting for my input. Now here if I enter 500, then you can see here on output I got as you have entered 500. So this is how we can take input from user with the help of Python, and with the help of input function we will take input from user. And also this input function will take a parameter which is a string parameter, and here if I enter anything like this, enter your age, and if I enter a parameter like this, and if I run this program once again, you can see here, instead of showing blank screen, it is now asking me to enter your age. So the point is, if I pass any string inside this input function, then that string will be displayed on my output screen. While taking input, while taking input on output screen, you will find this message which is present inside input function. I hope you are clear with this point. Now here, if I enter my age is 9000, okay. So you can see here, I got output as you have entered 9000. So remember my age is 9000. Alright, this is how you can take input from user. And also one more thing is the second point. By default, this input function will take input in string format. What does that mean? If I print type of A, and if I run this program, you can see here I am going to enter integer. I am going to enter 500. I know that 500, and we all know that 500 is an integer number. But you can see here on if I print type of A, I got output as class str. So this input function will by default take input in string format. It doesn't matter whether I am entering integer or it doesn't matter whether I am entering string. Whatever I enter, it by default this input function will take integer in string format. So that's what I have mentioned in line number 5. You should remember this. So this is the thing about input function. If you want to take any input from the user, instead of directly assigning a value to a variable, if you want to take input from the user, then you can use input function in Python. And whatever the text which you are passing inside this input function will be displayed on your output screen. While taking input, this text will be displayed. You can see here, the text here I got is enter your age, and after that it is waiting for my input. And I have entered 5,000, and on the next line, I got output as you have entered 500. So let me explain you this line number 8 also, this print statement. Here I have given a string. This is a string. You have entered. This is a string. And after string, I am printing the value which is stored inside variable A. So whatever the user enters as an input, at line number 7 will be stored inside A. I know this thing, but here I can print string and also other values like this. I can separate them with the help of a comma. With the help of comma, I can separate two strings. I know that I am using an input function. So input function will by default take input in string format, which means the data type of A is string. So I can separate with the help of comma. I can print two strings at the same time with the help of comma. Not only two strings, here I can add extra strings also, like, and you have entered, and this is your age. Let me uncomment these two lines also. And if I run this program once again, and if I enter my age as 9,000, then you can see here I got output as you have entered 9,000, and it is not AB developers, it is, and it's a typo. Let me change. So my age is 9,000. You can see here you have entered 9,000 and this is your age. So that's the thing. You can print multiple strings or multiple variables inside print statement, but the only thing is those things should be separated by a comma. I am separating this string. You have entered this a string, A is a string, and this is your age, this is also one string. So here I am printing three strings, and I am separating these strings with a comma. So I can print content like this also inside in Python programming language. In Java, you will use plus operator, something like that. In Python, we will do this like this. We can also use plus here. It's not going to throw any error. You can check here. If I enter 9,000 once again, I won't get any error. I can either use comma or I can use plus. So that's the thing about input function and print statement. Oh, I have told you that I can enter either comma or plus, right? So there should be something. There should be some difference between entering comma or plus. So let me show you that. Now the value of A is 10 and the value of B is hello. If I print A comma B, I won't get any error. You can see here I got 10 space hello. So here A is an integer and B is a string. Note this point, I am not using any input function here. I am directly assigning an integer to the variable A. So which means the data type stored inside variable A is integer. So if I print A comma B, then I will get output as 10 and hello. I won't get any error. But if I use plus here, I will definitely get an error. You can see here I got plus because it is not possible to perform addition operation on integer and string. Remember, it is not possible to perform addition operation on integer and string. So I am getting error while using plus operator here. So in case if the value of B is 20 and if I run this program, then I will get output as 30, which is fine because 10 plus 20 is 30. In case instead of 20, if I use a string here, you know that this is also a string. Now, if it doesn't matter whether it is 20 or it is integer, if I am enclosing this inside double quotes or single quotes, means it will be considered as string only. So if I run this program, I will get an error because it is not possible to perform addition operation on integer and string. But if I use comma, I won't get any error. So my Python interpreter will understand like this. I am trying to print the value of A and B separately. So that's the difference between comma and plus. If they both are strings or if they both are integers means I can happily use plus operator. Otherwise, I should use comma. If the data type of A and B are different means I should use comma. If they both are same means I can use plus. So you can see here A is also a string and B is also a string because I am enclosing the values inside double quotes. If I run this program, you can see here I got output as 1020. Now why I got output as 1020? Now after discussing about this input function, I am going to tell you about what are the operations on strings. So just remember my point. Don't worry about this output 1020. I will explain about this now. But the point which you should remember is if the data type of A and B are same means I can happily use plus. If they both are different means I should use comma. So that's the point which you should remember. If I run this program, you can say here, if I use comma by default I am getting a space between 10 and 20. And if I am not using comma, instead of comma if I am using plus, you can see here I am not getting any space between 10 and 20. So this is also one more thing which you should remember. And this is how Python works. The print statement of Python works like this. You should not ask me why there is a space coming while using comma and why the space is not coming while using plus. So while using plus, the concatenation will happen, so the space won't come. If I am using comma means Python interpreter will think that I am trying to print the value of A and B separately. So by default, it will give a space between A and B, which is a good thing. So this is the thing about input function. It is used to take input from the user. And I hope you clearly understood about the input function. And you all know that I am going to share this with the help of a GitHub link, so you can check this later. And now we are going to discuss about string functions. So now we are going to discuss about string functions. So there are a lot of functions present inside string. I remember few of them, but the point is there are a lot of functions present inside a string. So let me see how many functions I remember. After that, with the help of any one website, I'll try to explain the remaining function. And also, I have told you that what is meant by a function, it is used to perform a specific task. So what is the use of append function? The task of append function is used, the task of append function is to add a new element at the end of a list. So the task of index function is to return the index number of the value. So the point is function is used to do a specific task. You should remember that. So now we are going to discuss about string functions, right? So first, I know that I can declare strings using either single quotes or double quotes, or else simply now that we know about input function, let me take input from the user. So I am going to tell the user to enter string one, and also I am repeating this once again. String means collection of characters. That's it, nothing. So all the English words and sentences they all are considered as strings. And let me take another input from user. And I'm going to tell user that enter string 2. All right. So how many people are listening the class now? Around 245 participants. Fine. I hope you all are listening to my words carefully, and I am proceeding with the section. I don't want to enable chat section again and again because some people may feel uncomfortable if I do like that. All right, I am taking two strings from the user. So the first thing is plus operation or concatenation operation. So what is meant by concatenation? Concatenation is nothing but adding two strings. So if I can simply add two strings using a plus operator, which I have told you just before. In the previous file input.py, I have shown you that I have added a and b. Alright, so you can see here. Now my string one is Aavanto and my string two is technology. So you can see here in line number 5, while printing A plus B, I got output as Aavanto Technology. So what is happening here? Here I am adding two strings. So and also you can see one more thing. As there is no space between Aavanto and technology, so inside the string Aavanto and technology, there is no space. So I won't get any space between Aavanto and technology. Now in case if I say Aavanto and you can clearly see the output terminal. Now I am giving one space here. I have just given one space. Now I am going to hit enter. Now here I am going to say technology. So you can say here I got space between Avanto and technology. So there is one empty space after the string Avanto. That's why I got a space in output. So that's why I got space in between Avanto and technology. So I hope you understood this. I have one empty space after the string Avanto. Fine. So this is the thing about plus operation. If we use plus operator between two strings, then concatenation will be happen. So what is meant by concatenation? Simply adding two strings. That's it. So the next string operation is upper. So this upper will convert all chars into uppercase. What does that mean? So if I say, let me comment line number two. I don't want to take two inputs now. So if I say print a dot upper, so you can see what will happen. Now if I enter Avanto, you can see here on output screen, I got Avanto in uppercase. So this is simple, right? You can understand this by looking at the name of the function itself. So if I say upper means all the characters present inside that string will get converted into uppercase. That's it. And also let me show you if already the characters are in uppercase means then also nothing will change. By default, all characters will get converted into uppercase in case of upper function. So let me comment number 8. And the next function is lower, which is opposite to upper. This will convert all characters into lowercase. So if I print a dot lower, but it is mandatory to mention parentheses after function name. In today's session also I have told you that it is syntax of Python. So it is mandatory for us to mention parentheses after any function name. If I run this program, and now let me enter Avanto in caps. You can see here on output I got as Avanto, but the characters are now in lower case. So I hope you all understood the concept here. The upper function is used to convert all the characters into uppercase, and the lower function is used to convert all the characters present inside a string into lower case. The next function is, I think, title. So title is a function. Oh, I forgot what this function will do. Let me check once. And also the point is you don't have to remember all the concepts. It is not possible for anyone to remember all the functions. So depending upon your need, you need to search in Google and you can learn. That's how you learn things. So there are a lot of programming languages in world. It is not possible for you to learn Java, Python, C, and by learning all those programming languages, it is not possible for you to remember all concepts from all programming languages. You will definitely get confused. So by practicing, you will get better. That's what I can say. If I say Avanto text, now you can see here this title function will convert the first character of all the strings into capital letters. So Avanto tick is a single string, but you can consider this as a sentence. For understanding the concept of title function, consider this string as a sentence now. We can sentence is also a string only in Python. I have told you that. So the point is, in sentence, if I use title function, then that will convert the first character in all words to capital letters. So the title function will convert the first character of all the words to capital letters. You can see here in the output I got A and T as capital letters. So this will convert the first character of all words into uppercase. So that's the thing about title function. Let me comment out line number 14. And now let's discuss about, so there is a function called capitalize. I am using the auto suggestion feature here. Of course, I need to use parenthesis after function name. So the function is capitalize. This will convert only the first character in a sentence to uppercase. So if I run this program once again, and now if I enter Aavanto Tech, and you can see here now the T is not getting converted into uppercase. Only the first character, the only A is converted into uppercase. So that's the thing about capitalize function. Title function will convert all the first characters in all words into uppercase, whereas capitalize function will convert only the first character inside a string to uppercase. So that's what you should remember. And also the next function is there are a lot of functions like here. So we know about count function, right? If I get a count of a in list and tuples, we have discussed about count function. If I say a dot count of a and if I enter a b b, you can see here I got output as 3, which means a is present 3 times in my string. So my string is a and I am trying to print the count of character a. So the count of character a is 3. So I got output as 3. So this count will return the count of occurrences of a character or sequence in a string. Now I have shown you that I have used the count function on a character, but here I have mentioned that we can use it on either character or sequence. What is sequence here? If I say A B and if I run this program once again, now here let me enter A B B A B A B B B. If I hit enter, then you can see here I got output as 3 because I am trying to find the count of AB. I am trying to count the sequence of AB. So you can see here AB is present once. AB is present once, and here the AB is present the second time in the middle, and here AB is present third time. So I have 3 occurrences of AB. So I got output as 3. So I can use this on either single character or else if I want to check the count of and inside a sentence, then I can use something like this. And let me say Avanto or I should be use always Avanto. Let's use something. Let's use some other sentence here like you and I are best friends. If I hit enter, then you can see here I got output as 1 because and is present only one time in this sentence. So that's the thing which you should remember about the count function. All right. So the next function is int a dot. If I just press a dot, I will get all the suggestions here in VS Code. I can use all this. So there is a function called as ends with. If I say a dot ends with xyz, there is a function called as ends with. So you can understand this by looking at the function name itself. So what does it mean ends with? So if the string is going to end with xyz, then I will get output as true. Otherwise, I will get output as false. So it will return boolean value, which means it will return either true or false. If I run this program once again, and now let me say Avanto here, and if I hit enter, then you can see here I got output as false because this string Avanto is not ending with xyz. And similarly, let me run this program once again, and if I give string something like hello xyz, then you can see here I got output as true, which means this string hello xyz is ending with xyz. So that's what I am trying to explain here. And the next thing is starts with. So similar to ends with, there is a function called as starts with, and this will also return a boolean. And if I print a dot starts with a, if my string is starting with a, then I will get output as true. Otherwise, I will get output as false. So if I say Avanto, I will get output as true. If I say Arshad, I will get output as false. That's the thing which you should remember. And there are a lot of functions available in strings. Let me check one more function. So ends with find. So there is a function called as find. If I say a dot find, and then let me say and this function. Just let me run this program. You can see here if I give string as Aavanto, then I got output as 0 because it is telling me that the character A is present at index number 0. So the character A is present at index number 0. It usually returns index number of a character. That's the thing about find function. Plus, I forgot to mention this thing that we can perform indexing and slicing on strings also, not only in list and tuples, but also we can perform indexing and slicing operation on strings also. I will show you that. And there is another function called as or find. Or find. So I know that the find function will return the index position of a character. So the index position of A is 0, right? So I got output as 0. And if I run this program once again, and this time I will enter name as Aditya here. You can see here I got output as 6. What is happening here? I am using or find function, which means reverse find. So now it will start searching from the end of the string. You can see here at the end of the string, I got A. So what is the index number of this last A? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So 6 is the index number of this last A. So I got output as 6. So that's what happening here. And or find means reverse find. It will start searching the string from the end and it will return if it finds any matching character. If I say Amanto, now guess the output, what will happen? So I know that it will start searching from the end. So from end, the first A is present here. After we, the first A is present if we search from the end. So what is the index number of this A after V? So 0, 1, 2, 3. So I will get output as 3. So that's how this or find function will work. And now let me explain about the concept of indexing and slicing inside strings. It is similar to list and tuple, sorry, nothing different. But I should show. So if I print, I can, of course, I can perform the same thing here also. In indexing, the index number of a string also starts from 0 and it will end at length of string minus 1. So the one more thing is we can use len function on string also. We cannot use len function on integers, floating point numbers. We will get an error. But we can use len function on strings. So first let us discuss about len function. Will return the length or the number of characters present inside a string. We know about len function. So if I say print len of a, and if let me comment on line number 7. So if I run this program now and enter Aditya, then you can see here I got output as 7 because the length of the name Aditya is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got output as 7. So which means there are 7 characters present inside this string Aditya. So let me comment out this line and we know about length function. Now let us discuss about indexing. So the concept is same here. I am not going to repeat the definition again and again. The point is in strings also the index number starts from 0 and it will end at length of string minus 1. So here consider this name or string Aditya. So here the index number of Aditya, A is 0, D is 1, I is 2 and similarly the index number of the last A is 6. So the length of the string Aditya is 7 but the last index number is 6 because the index number starts from 0. So it goes from 0 to 6. So similarly, let me print A of 0. Let me enter string here as Kohli. And if I hit enter, then you can see here I got A as output. And also, this is the thing about indexing. The concept is similar only. I can perform negative indexing also. If I run this program and if I enter Virat this time, then you can see here I got output as T. In the beginning of today's class also, I have told you that negative indexing starts from end of the string. So the negative index number of T is minus 1, A is minus 2, R is minus 3. Whereas in case of positive indexing, the index number of B is 0, I is 1, R is 2, and it goes like that. We have discussed about indexing, and now let us see how slicing works in strings. Slicing also similar to list and tuples, only there is nothing difference here. So if I print a of, when I know that in case of slicing, I need to use colon, and if I simply use colon and if I don't mention any starting and ending index number, then the entire string will get printed, similar to list and tuple. Now here, if I enter some string like technology, then you can see here on the output screen, I got entire string. But if I say one colon, which means start from one and go until the end of the string. So once again, if I enter technology, then you can see here this time the slicing started from index number one. The index value of E is one, right? So it started from E, C, H, N, O, L, O, G, Y. Like that slicing will work. If I enter 4 here, then I know that the process of slicing starts from index number one and it will end at index number three. It will goes until 4, but it won't print the value or it won't print the character which is stored at index number 4. It will print only up to index number 3. So let me run this program once again, and if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you can see here I got output as 2, 3, 4. So the output of the index number of 2 is 1, 3 is 2, like that. So let me give different string here so that you won't get any confusion. 0, 1, 2, 3. We all know that the index number starts from 0, right? Now you can see here in output, I got output as 1, 2, 3. So the index number of 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4. So if I try to, let me give some big number here like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I hit enter, then you can see here I got output as 1, 2, 3. So what is happening here? So indexing starts from 1. So it has printed the value which is, or it has printed the character which is stored at index position 1. It has printed the character which is stored at index position 2. It has printed the character which is stored at index position 3, and I am mentioning the ending index range as 4, right? So it won't include 4. It will end at 3 only. So that's the concept of slicing. This is how slicing works. And similarly, if I won't mention any starting index number, then the slicing will begin from the zeroth index position. If I won't mention anything at the beginning, it will by default begin at 0. So if I enter technology, then you can see here I got output as tech. So it goes until index number 4, right? So the index number of H is 3. So I got output until H, TECH. So I think you are clearly understanding the concept of slicing here. I am trying my best to explain this concept slicing because a lot of people might think this is somewhat difficult, but it is easy only. So the thing is, you should understand the concept first. Like in case of slicing, we will access multiple elements or multiple, in case of list and tuples, in case of slicing, we access multiple elements. Whereas in case of string, in slicing, we access multiple characters. That's it. So the next thing is there is a function called as index also. Now let me show you the difference between index and find function. I have told you that find function will return the index number of a character in a string. But there is a function called as index also, which will return the index number of a character. This will also returns the index number of a character. But then what's the difference between find and index? Let me show you. If I say a dot index of x, run this program. Now if I enter here w x y z, so what is the index number of x? 1, right? I'm going to hit enter. You can see here I got output as 1. It is fine. So similarly, there is a function called as or index, which means reverse index. At this point, we cannot perform this or index or reverse index operation on list and tuples. We can only perform this on strings. If I run this program once again, and if I enter w x y x w, if I hit enter, you can see here I got output as 1 and 3. For line number 46, I am getting output as 1, which means the index of character x is 1. It is perfect. But in line number 49, I am using or index function, right? Or index means reverse index. So the searching will begin from the end of the string. So from the end of the string, it is the x is present here. After y also there is one x. So the index number of x which is present after y is 3. So that's what happening here. So the concept of R index and R find is similar, and the find, so the concept of R index and R find are same, and index and find are same. Then what? There should be some difference, right? So the difference is, let me run this program once again. And in case here, if I enter string as Arshad, then you can see here I got an error. It is saying that substring not found. It is returning me value error. So the point is, if I comment this line and if I run this program once again, and again let me enter Arshad, so there is no X here. So in case of R index also, I am getting an error. It is saying that substring not found. So in case if the character which we are trying to access is not present in the string means I will get an error. So remember, in case of index and or index functions in strings, the characters which I am trying to find index number are not present means I will get an error. And now you might have understood that I won't get any error in find and or find function. So it's fine. I won't get any error. But what will I get? So let me print X here. So here I will get output as -1 if the substring is not present. So here let me enter Arshad. So X is not present in Arshad. You can see here for both find and or find I got -1 in my output. -1 means this character, this substring is not present in the main string. What is my main string here? A. What is my substring here? X. So this substring is not present in my main string. So if you want to find index number of a character in a string, and if you don't want any kind of errors, then you can use find function. So find will be the best option for you. If you want to avoid errors, then it is better to use find function instead of index function. So remember this function, find function will not return any error if the subcharacter is not present or if the substring is not present. But whereas index and or index function will return error in case if the substring is not present. So this is the thing about, this is the main difference about find or find and index and or index functions. Let me show you one more thing here. Here, not only a single character, I can try to access the index starting index position of a substring. Like I can say here abd abd. Now let me run this program once again. Now here, if I say abd is alien and abd is best, run this program once again. So if I run this program, we can see here first I got output as 0. For line number 46, I got output as 0. In line number 46, I am using index function. So ABD, this substring, ABD is present at the beginning of the string itself. So we all know that the indexing starts from 0, right? So I got 0 as output here. But in case of OR index, I know that now the search will begin from the end of the string. So if we start from the end of the string, ABD is present here. You can see here I have marked this. So ABD is present here. After the word and, ABD is present once again. So you can start indexing from here. If you check that, then you will get to know that the index number of this ABD is 17, which means the index number of this A is 17. So not only a single characters, we can use entire substring inside this index and or index functions. Not only in this, we can use them in find and or find functions also. So the point is, if this character is present like this, if any term or if any substring like ABD is present in my string means I will get output. If ABD is not present means I will get error. Now here if I say Aavanto is best and if I hit enter, then you can see here I got error because ABD substring is not present here. Of course A is present, but ABD is not present. Here I am searching for ABD. That's what you should remember. And let me comment out these two lines. So we have discussed about a lot of functions, and there are a lot of functions which we have to discuss still. Is all num. Okay, we use this function is all num. So this is all num function will return boolean value as output. Return boolean. Will this will return true if a string contains both alphabets and numbers. And let me print this. If I run this program, and if I enter string here as ABC123, then you can see here I got output as 2. And if I enter as ABC, again I got output as 2. If I enter as 1, 2, 3, again I got output as 2. So basically what is happening here, this is the all function will return a boolean value, and in case if the string if the string A is having either alphabets or numbers or both the combination of alphabets or numbers, then I will get output as true. Otherwise I will get output as false. So that's the thing which you should remember in this is or num function. This will return true if a string contains either alphabets or either numbers or either both alphabets and numbers. I'm making a lot of typing mistakes here. Right. The next function is alpha. This will return true if all the characters present inside string or characters or alphabets. So we know that 1, 2, 3, they are not alphabets, they are numbers, right? So A to Z only we have alphabets. So if I print A dot is alpha, and if I run this program, now if I enter ABC 1, 2, 3, I will get false because 1, 2, 3, they are not alphabets. So I am getting output as false. So if I enter only alphabets, then I will get output as true. In case if I enter only numbers, then also I will get output as false because they are not alphabets. So if we want to make sure that only alphabets are present inside a string, means we can use this is alpha function. If I say ABC 1, 2, 3, I will get, of course, I will get output as false. I have shown you this. Similarly, there is one more function called as is num. This is opposite to is alpha. This will return true. This will also return a boolean value, which means this will return either true or false. So this isNum function will return true if all the characters inside a string or numbers. So if I say print a dot isNum, it's not isNum, it is numeric. It's not isNum. Is alpha and the next function is numeric. It is not isNum. So if I enter 1, 2, 3, then I will get output as 2. You can see here this 1, 2, 3 is a string now. This is not an integer. This 1, 2, 3 is a string because we know that here I am using input function. And I have told you that this input function will by default take input in string format. So which means now the value stored inside variable A is a string. If this is string, that's why we are able to perform all these operations on this. If I enter anything here as ABC123, I will get output as false because ABC are not numeric. And if I enter ABC, then I will get output as false. If I enter 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, then I will get output as 2. So if you want to make sure that the user is entering only numeric values, then you can use this is numeric function. And if you want to make sure that user is entering only alphabets, then you can use this is alpha function. So that's the thing about is alpha and is numeric function. And there are two more important functions like strip and join, and also one more important function is split. And we will discuss these three functions tomorrow. So we have discussed about a lot of functions now. Go through these functions once again after completion of this class so that you will remember this. So in our programming, we use these functions. Lot of cases we use all these functions. So that's how I am remembering these functions. Apart from this, there are a lot of functions also. Uh, if time allows, I will explain you those functions also. So now I am going to enable the chat section. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. I hope you clearly understood the concept of string functions. We have seen a lot of functions here, and we have seen how to take input from the user directly assigning instead of directly assigning value. We have seen how to take input from the user using input function. So now I have enabled the chat section. If you have any doubts, you can let me know. So our index with ABD option is not getting some. So the index function in string and list are same only. It will return the index position of a character or a substring. That's it. So nothing different here. So let me explain you one more time. Just stop sending messages so that everyone can concentrate well. So if I run this program, now if I enter string like ABD is good, and you can see here I got output as 0. Here ABD, I am trying to search the index position of ABD. You can see here the substring ABD is present in the beginning itself. So the beginning, which means the index number of A is 0. So substring ABD is present at the beginning of the string itself, and I know that the starting character, the index of starting character is 0. So I am getting output as 0 here. So ABD is not repeating anywhere else. So I will get 0 in case of both index and reverse index. Now if I run this program once again, if I say the ABD is base, then you can see here I got output as 4 now. So what is happening here? So ABD is present here in my string, the substring ABD. So the my string is the ABD is best, but my substring is ABD. So ABD is present after the word the. Now, what is the index number of A here? So the index number of T0, H is 1, E is 3, and there is an empty space here. So the index number of this empty space is 3. T is 0, H is 1, E is 2, and the index number of this empty space is 3. And index number of A is now 4. So I am getting output as 4. So that's what happening inside index function. Similarly, if I say ABD is ABD, and if I hit enter, then you can see here ABD is repeating 2 times. ABD is my substring, and ABD is repeating 2 times here. So first occurrence of ABD is in the beginning of the string. So the index number of A is 0. So in case of index function, I got output as 0. While using index function, now I know that the index function, the searching starts from the end of the string. So there is one more ABD at the end of the string. So here, what is the index number of A now? So what is the index number of this A? The A which is present in the last ABD. What is the index number of A which is present at last ABD? So let us see that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7 is the index number of this A. So I got output as 7 here. While performing indexing and slicing in strings, you need to make sure that the empty spaces also comes into count. You should count empty spaces also. They will also be considered as a single character. You should not ignore empty spaces while performing indexing and slicing operation in strings. So you should count empty spaces also. Now I hope you understood the difference between index and our index. I think you understood. If you want me to explain once again, I will quickly explain. So the point is, so the first occurrence of ABD is at the beginning. So I got output as 0. The index number of this first A is 0. So I got output as 0. So while using index function, the first occurrence from the end of the string is here. After the word is, I am having ABD once again. So now what is the index number of this A? 7 is the index number of this A. We have just counted that. So that's how we got 7 as output while using index function. So the next question is, explain the title function. So the title function, where is title function? So the title function will convert the first character of all words into uppercase. So in case if I am giving a sentence as input here, so my sentence is, um, I like cricket. If I hit enter, then you can see here the first character of all words are now in uppercase. I is in uppercase, L is in uppercase, C is in uppercase. So the main difference between title and capitalized function is in case of title function, this will convert the first character of all words into uppercase. You can check the output. Similarly, if I use capitalized function here and if I say I like cricket, you can see here. Now the only first character of the entire string is converted into uppercase. You can see here the L and C are in lowercase only. Only the first character has converted into uppercase. So there's a difference between title and upper function. And I've explained index once again. So the main difference between find and index is Priya. In case of find, if the substring is not present means I will get -1 as output. Whereas in case of index function, if the substring which I am searching is not present means I will get an error. I have shown you that. In case of index, I will get an error. In case of find, if the substring which I am searching is not present means I will get -1 as output. So that's the difference between find and index function. If you have any more doubts, you can let me know. I will stop the recording now. So if you don't have doubts, you can leave this class.